A very good morning. We will now learn a new topic, normal forms in context-free grammar. Till now, we were seeing about context-free grammar, we were seeing about push-down automata, deterministic push-down automata, non-deterministic push-down automata, and so on. Now, when you talk about context-free grammar, there are two kinds of normal forms. When you talk about context-free grammars, there are two kinds of normal forms. You call them Chomsky normal form, and you even have one more called Grayback normal form. We will be seeing both today. Chomsky normal form, which is written as CNF, and Grayback normal form, which is written as GNF. Now, first we will see about CNF or Chomsky normal form. Now, Chomsky normal form, a grammar, or to be very specific, a context-free grammar is said to be in CNF if these three rules are satisfied. Now, we'll see that with the help of a grammar. Now, look here. I do have a grammar called G1, where I have four production rules. S is AB, S is C, A is A, and B is B. These are my set of production rules, or I say this is my T, where I do have four production rules. Now, what Chomsky normal form tells you is each of these production rules, like if you take a production rule S is equal to AB, it should satisfy any of these three conditions. If you take the second production rule, that should also satisfy any of the three conditions. So that is what Chomsky normal form tells you. If all the production rules satisfy any of the following conditions. So you have four production rules over here. Each of the production rules should satisfy any of these three conditions. Now let's see these three conditions in detail. The start symbol should generate epsilon, or normally we denote a start symbol by a symbol called S. S should generate epsilon. That is your condition number one. S should generate an epsilon, or all these are or. Okay, you have three rules. Just anyone need to be satisfied. Or a non-terminal generating two non-terminals. Okay, as you all know, non-terminals, they happen in capital letters, and terminals, they happen in small letters or your symbols or your numbers and so on. So a non-terminal should generate two non-terminals. Like, if you have a non-terminal like A or S or B or whatever, it should generate two non-terminals. Okay, a non-terminal should be generating two non-terminals. Or you have a third condition, a non-terminal, let's say A or S or whatever, it should generate a terminal, or it can generate a number, or it can generate a symbol or whatever. Okay, so any of these three conditions should be followed. The start symbol should generate epsilon, or a non-terminal should generate two non-terminals. A non-terminal should generate a terminal. So if any of these are satisfied, you say that a particular grammar is in a Chomsky normal form. Now let's come to our first example. We'll see this example. Let us see whether this satisfies Chomsky normal form. Okay, so look at the first one. So when you check whether it satisfies the Chomsky normal form, take each production rule, and then all those which satisfy, we will give a tick mark. Okay, so S gives AB. As you all know, S is a non-terminal. It is a capital letter, so it is a non-terminal. It generates two non-terminals. So your rule number 2 is satisfied. So this particular production rule is in a Chomsky normal form. Now, third rule is satisfied. A non-terminal is generating a terminal. So this production rule is also in your Chomsky normal form. Now let's go for the third one. You have a non-terminal over here, which gives a terminal. Your rule number 3 is satisfied, which means your production number, rule number 3 also satisfies the Chomsky normal form. And then you have the fourth one, a terminal giving a non-terminal. This also satisfies Chomsky normal form. Now look here. Each and every production rule. This particular grammar, I do have 4 production rules. Each of those production rules satisfy the Chomsky normal form condition. Therefore, I will say that this particular grammar called G1, it is in the Chomsky normal form because each and every one of my production rule is satisfied. Now let's see. We have another grammar called G2. You do have 4 production rules. Okay, you have a production rule called S, starting with S, A, and B. Let's see whether it is in CNF or not. Okay, now look at it. The first one gives, this one is a what? It is a terminal or a non-terminal? It is a non-terminal. A non-terminal should be generating either 2 non-terminals or a terminal. But look here, here you do have a combination of a terminal or a non-terminal. So this does not satisfy my Chomsky normal form. It should either be in any of these 3 normal forms, these 3 conditions. So my first production rule, S is small a, capital A, does not fall under that category. So it doesn't follow Chomsky normal form. My second one, it gives a terminal, that is in a Chomsky normal form. This is also in the Chomsky normal form. But because all the production rules do not follow the conditions, I say that G2 is not in Chomsky normal form. So this is how you prove whether a particular grammar is in the Chomsky normal form or not. Now, all CFGs, all your context-free grammars, they will not be in CNF. They will not be normalized. But you can always normalize a context-free grammar into a Chomsky normal form. Now let's see, how do you convert a given CFG to a CNF? Now, if the start symbol S happens on the right side, create a new start symbol called S dash, so that you have something called S dash S. Like, imagine you do have something like this. Okay, S happens on the right side. So what you should simply do is have something like this. S dash is equal to S. Have one more rule extra. That's it. Okay. Now, the next thing is elimination. Step number 2 is elimination. You should eliminate null productions. You should eliminate unit productions, and you should even eliminate useless productions. Now, we'll see what is a null production. Okay, let's look here. As per the rule, your start symbol only can have a null production. Null is nothing but epsilon. Like, this is possible. Okay, this is possible. Your start symbol can have a null production. Okay, look what I've written over here. Start symbol can have a null production, and only start symbol can have a null production. Okay, in this particular grammar, S is my start symbol. So very well, S can have a null production. Imagine I had an extra rule like this, A epsilon. Okay, now here I gave A because I just wrote the rule. In this particular grammar, A is not the starting, S is the starting. Now look here. I do have a rule called A is epsilon. Only the start symbol can have epsilon. Only the start symbol. Only the start symbol can generate epsilon. nobody else can generate an epsilon. So other than the start symbol, if there is a symbol which gives rise to epsilon, eliminate that. Okay, that is what you mean by eliminating of null productions. If there is anybody else other than the start symbol who has a null production, eliminate them. The next is something called unit productions. Now, if you look into the rule again, a non-terminal should give rise to two non-terminals. Okay, look here very clearly. A non-terminal should generate two non-terminals. Okay, so if you have something like this, A, B, okay, it gives rise only to a single non-terminal. Okay, this is invalid. So if you have anything of this sort, eliminate it. Okay, so that is what you mean by unit productions. So you will be eliminating your null productions, you will be eliminating your unit productions, and imagine you have something like useless productions, nothing which will contribute to your end result, simply eliminate that. The next two steps are very important. Eliminate terminals from the RHS if they exist with other non-terminals, which means imagine you have something like this. Okay, terminals. Okay, imagine you have a rule like this, a terminal which give rise to something like this. Okay, it is a combination of a non-terminal and a terminal. As per rule, this combination is not allowed. You can either have S giving rise to sigma, A can give rise to two non-terminals, or it can give rise to a terminal. Okay, these are the conditions to be followed. This combination is not allowed. This particular combination is not allowed. You should be having two non-terminals. Here, look here, you're having a terminal of a non-terminal and a terminal. Very simple. This, you can convert it like this. You can give it like this. X is equal to, A is equal to XS. And then you can simply write X A. Now, if you look into the conditions, yeah, this is satisfied. This also satisfies. So, if you have something like this, a combination of a terminal and a non-terminal, you can decompose your grammar in such a way so that it satisfies the Chomsky normal form. That is rule number 3. Now, eliminate RHS with more than two terminals. Imagine you are having something like this. A gives rise to A, B, C. Okay, if you look into the rules, you can give rise only to two non-terminals. You cannot give rise to more than two terminals. But this particular grammar, it gives rise to more than two terminals. Again, very simple. What you can do is it can be decomposed into, you can write like this, X, C, and X is nothing but AB. So the conditions are satisfied. Okay. So this is how you convert a context-free grammar into CNF. You'll have to have an extra rule for S dash or S1, or you can give any name for that. Remove of your null productions, remove of your unit productions, useless productions if you have any, do away with that. Eliminate these kind of combinations. Okay, terminal and a non-terminal. If you're having more than two non-terminals, that also you will have to decompose. Now let's do a few conversions. Okay, so I have the first problem. Convert the given context-free grammar into a CNF. Now the first thing what you have to do is, when you get such a problem, check whether each and every production rule satisfies the Chomsky normal form or not. If it doesn't satisfy, we'll have to play on that particular rule. So we'll do one by one. So let's take this. S is equal to A. You can write on the rule somewhere. Start symbol can give rise to epsilon. A can give rise to a combination called AB. And then, A can give rise to a, these are the basic rules. Okay. So you cannot have such a combination, a terminal and a non-terminal. It isn't permitted. This is permitted. This is permitted. Okay. So anyway, because one is not satisfying, you can say that it is not in a Chomsky normal form. Okay. So we'll go steps one by one. This is a very simple grammar. We need not go for an S dash and all that. You don't have a null production, or you don't have a unit production. The only thing what you have is a combination. Okay, so very simple. You have to do away with this kind of a combination because it is not permitted. So I can very simply write S. I can give another variable called A, R. R, A. A is A. B is C. And then my R is nothing but small p. Now let's check. This is in Chomsky normal form. This also satisfies. This also satisfies. This also satisfies. Therefore, the grammar is in Chomsky normal form. S is A or AA. S is B, A is ABB or epsilon, B is AA or B. We have another question. First thing what you have to do is check whether each and every rule is in a Chomsky normal form. So, we'll just write the things over here so that it is easy for to remember. S can be epsilon, A can be AB, A can be A. These are the basic three rules which you need to have in mind. Only combinations. Okay. So we'll just go one by one. S is A. Yeah, fine. This kind of a combination, not allowed. This kind of a combination, not allowed. This kind of a combination, no. A is epsilon. Okay. As per Chomsky normal form, only the start symbol can be epsilon. Only the start symbol can be epsilon. Nobody else can be epsilon. So this also doesn't satisfy. No, yes. Very simple. Not in series. This particular grammar is not in series. Okay. So always have the habit to add an extra grammar because things will be easier if you always add an extra rule. Okay. So the first thing what I'll do is I will do my step number 1, add up a new grammar called S dash. So I'll write S dash is nothing but S, and then I will write all the other remaining things. I did my step number 1. I added up an extra grammar, and now I'm writing down the remaining things as it is. Please write it together with me, or you will find it a problem when you finish it. B is AA or B. Okay, so all what I did is I added up an extra grammar called S dash. So my step number 1, I'm done with it. Okay, I've added up a new production rule, S dash is equal to S. Now I need to remove off my null productions. Okay, so this is my step number 1, adding S dash. Okay, now I am going to my step number 2. Step number 2 is nothing but remove null. Remove my null. So where do I have a null? A epsilon. Okay, I have a null called A epsilon, which is not allowed. S epsilon is okay. Start symbol epsilon is okay. But A epsilon, I have to remove it away. So wherever you have A, replace it with epsilon. So this is how you do it. My first rule, I don't have A anywhere. So I simply write S dash is S. My second rule, look here. My first part is okay. A part is okay. Now I will have to replace A with epsilon. Okay. Now when I replace A with epsilon, I get A epsilon, which is A itself. I get A epsilon, which is A itself. So I need not write it again. Okay, so wherever you have an A, I will be replacing it with epsilon. Okay, wherever I have a capital A, epsilon means nothing, none. Okay, so look here, I have a capital A over here. Now, if I replace this A with epsilon, I will have A epsilon. I will have A epsilon, which is actually A itself. A followed by nothing is A. So, I'm not writing it down because I already have an A over here. And imagine if I don't replace it, I will get A itself. And then I have my normal B. Okay. Now, I'm writing my third rule. A is nothing but A, B, B. I don't have a capital A over there. So, new replacement. I will not be writing epsilon because, this particular step is for replacement of epsilon. Okay. Now, my third one, B. B is capital A, which is nothing but epsilon A, nothing followed by A is again A. So I have A, then I have AA. Okay, imagine I didn't have an epsilon, I will have AA. If I had an epsilon, I will have just a small a, and then I will be writing down my normal B. So now if I look into my grammar, I have no more null productions. Okay, so I've done with my removing of the null production. Now what I have to do is remove off the unit productions. Okay, I will have to remove my unit productions. So what I'm going to do is I will have to eliminate, or let's say remove unit productions. Unit productions come of the term like this, like X, Y. This is not permitted. Okay, you can have only this kind of a combination. So any unit productions you will have to eliminate. So first thing what we do is let us find out where all you have unit productions. This is a unit production. Okay, I have a unit production S dash S. Then this is a unit production, isn't it? S B. That is a unit production. I have no other unit production. So I have to remove these two productions. Very simple. Substitute. Okay. So wherever you have S, substitute it with this. Wherever you have B, substitute it with this. Okay. So let's do that. So I'll write S dash is nothing but, I need to avoid this. Okay. So I'll just write S dash is nothing but A, B, B. But this B guy again has a problem. B is a unit production. So instead of B, I will replace it with this particular B. It is A. I'm not writing A because I already have an A. I'll write B. So that is done with. Then I'll write my second grammar. I have A, and then I have B. B is a unit production. I need to do away with that. So I will replace it with B. I'm not writing A because I already have an A, and then my B. Okay. And then I have my production rules, which I am not touching. A is B is A, B. Okay. So go through your grammar and then check whether you have any unit productions. Okay. You have no unit productions. Interestingly, let's see. Now, you know, when you look, many will be satisfying the Chomsky normal form. Satisfies, dissatisfies, dissatisfies, satisfies, 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 satisfies. Or you do have, yeah, you do have a few things again which do not satisfy, but you don't have any nulls, you don't have any unit productions. Now you will go for the next thing. Eliminate these kind of combinations. Eliminate the combinations where you have these kind, terminal and a non-terminal. So, you know, I'll be going into my step number 4. Okay, I'm going into now my step number 4, where, you know, I am going to do away with my combinations. So, first thing what you do is check where all you have combinations. I have a combinations many places. I have combinations in many places. This is a combination, 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 combination. Yeah, this is also a combination. Lots of combinations I do. Okay. So what I'll do is I will replace all these combinations. I need to make it in this particular pattern. Okay, so I'll write S dash is A. I have a combination. So what I'll do is I'll just have an extra variable called X. Give any name. I just give it X and then, you know, I'll write X over here, or else I'll forget it at the end. X is nothing but small a, terminal A. So wherever I do have small a, I will replace it with X, so that, you know, those combinations are done away with. S is nothing but A, XA, AX, B, A is X, BB, B is A, AX, B. Okay, so now what I've done is I've replaced all my combinations. So, you know, again, when you check, satisfies, 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 satisfy, all these satisfy. Oh my God, this doesn't satisfy. Except one, all the other production rules are satisfying the Chomsky normal form. Now look here. You have the last rule. Eliminate this kind of a combination. When you have more than one, eliminate this combination. Okay, so which is that combination? You have this particular combination, XBB. You should be breaking it. Okay, so let's break it. The fifth step. S dash is your normal thing. S is also the same thing. I'm not writing it again. A is, you need to break it up. You can't have a combination of 3. You can have only a combination of 2. So just simply have another variable called YB. YB. Y is nothing but, what is Y? Y is X. And then I have all my other remaining things as well. My B and my X. Okay. Now, this also satisfies my Chomsky normal form. Therefore, this particular grammar is in Chomsky normal form. So this is how you convert a given context-free grammar into a Chomsky. Just let me know the slide gets changed. Let's write it S dashes. S is A, SA, AB. A is BS. B is B epsilon. Okay. Remove null. Remove null. You have only a single null. B is epsilon. So let us remove that. So when you remove B is null, you get S dash S. S is A S A. A epsilon, which is A itself, and then you have A B. Okay. Now look. A. replace this B with epsilon. Okay, now replace B with epsilon without epsilon. Okay, so you know when you have B with epsilon, you get epsilon. B without epsilon, you get B, and then you have S. B is B because you know you've taken away the epsilon. Now look here. This is a next problem coming over here. You have one more null. You are having one more null. A epsilon. You have to even replace that A epsilon. Okay, because you know when you worked out, you got an extra epsilon. So let's do it. S dash is S. So wherever you have A, replace it with epsilon. S is okay. Now look here. Here you have two A's. Here you have two A's. Let's go patiently one by one. First, we will replace this first A with epsilon. So epsilon SA, which will give you an S. Epsilon S. With epsilon, this is without epsilon. Okay. So you finished replacing the first A. Now let us replace the second A S epsilon, which is now A's with epsilon. Without epsilon, when you write it, it is A S A itself. Leave it as it is over there, and then you have your normal A, and then you have your AB. So you will be having these many terms. Now try the next case. Imagine both are epsilon. You will have epsilon S epsilon, which is A, sorry, A epsilon, which is epsilon. So this is how that particular step. I'll just rub off all these things. You can take this thing down if you had a doubt. I just wrote it in a single step. So let's come back. So that was S. And then I do have my A. Okay. A is nothing but B or S. And then B is my B. So I'm done with those many steps. I've removed all my nulls. I do not have any more null. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to replace your unit productions. Check where all you have units. I have a unit over here. 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 So wherever you have this S, replace it with this particular one. Wherever you have B, replace it with this particular one. Okay, so I'll just do my replacings first. So S dash is what I have to replace it with my this particular symbol. So I write SA or ASA or AS or I need not write this S again because S is X itself. I'll just be happy with these things because if I write an S again, it is going on to be recursive, I need not write it again. So I'm just doing away with my S. Now I'll write my S. S is what? S is SA, ASA, AS, A. I'm not writing this S again because it is S again, the same things again and again, so I'm not doing it again. A is nothing but I have B. What is B? B is nothing but my small b, isn't it? Okay, so I'll write my small b over here and then my S. What is my S? SA, ASA, AS, A. And then I have my normal thing, B, which is a B. So let's check whether you have any normal, any unit productions now. I do not have any unit productions. I've done away with all my unit productions. Now the next thing what you have to do is you should be doing away with your mixtures. Okay, you will have to do away with your mixtures. Let's say you will have to do away with a mixture of this form, X and X. So check where all you do have mixtures of terminals and non-terminals. Okay, yeah, I do have a mixture over here. I do have a mixture over here, isn't it? I even have a mixture over here. So I will do away with all my mixtures. Okay, so I write S dash is SA, ASA, ASA. Instead of my small a, I'll just give a new term called, let's say, X. Just write down X over here, or else I will forget at the end. X is nothing but small a. So wherever you have these mixtures, I will be replacing it with X. S is nothing but SA, ASA, AS, A, X. A is what? B, SA, ASA, AS, A, X. B is B. Okay, so this particular mixture form you are done away with. Before we going further, just check whether everything is CNF. This is CNF. No. Yes. 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 No. Yes. 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 No. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 Okay. So these are the only three terms which are not in CNF. So what I'll do is I'll just erase my initial things and then we'll write it over there. Now you do have a mixture of three non-terminals coming in. You have a mixture of three non-terminals coming in, which you should be replacing as we did earlier. So now what we'll do is we will do the replacement of our three non-terminals, two or more non-terminals. Okay. I am again doing with my mixture of the form X, Y, Z. Okay, so I'll write my S dash. I'll not repeat everything writing. All my terms together with my, I'll give a new term, let's say Y. YA. Y is going to be what? Y is going to be A's. Okay, so wherever I have this combination, this portion, I will replace it with Y. So I do have my S. I'll not repeat everything. I'll write all my old terms and I have my YA. A also, I will have all the other terms and a YA. B, I will have B. X, I will have A. So everything is in your Chomsky normal form.